this video explaining profit modeling and break-even analysis. My name is Ian Loher. This topic shows important and essential tools for any business when it comes to making good financial decisions, working towards business success. So, profit modeling is the mathematical representation of how business generates profit, providing helpful insights. Break-even analysis is looking at what amount of output is needed to cover total costs of production. By the end of this video, you will grasp the key terminology, applying these key terms to sample business scenarios, and recognizing the influence of these tools for business decisions. So, we're going to go through fixed and variable costs. Fixed costs are the expenses that don't change with the level of production and stay the same throughout. An example of fixed costs is something like rent. Rent is a fixed amount that happens or that you pay for monthly, weekly, whatever it is. And so these lines show that it's more rigid. Variable costs are a bit more flexible. So variable costs change in direct proportion to the level of production. If more is produced and sold, then the cost of production also increases. And so variable costs, an example could be the cost of materials to make t-shirts, or the amount of ingredients that you need to make in a pie. These two also, if you add them together, they create your total cost. First question, this is a sample question to get our head around the topic. It's just a sample question in order to understand the topic a little better. We have Cool Tees is a small business that designs, prints, and sells custom t-shirts. Here's the information that we have. Fixed costs. Cool Tees has a fixed monthly expense of $800. This includes rent for their workshop and monthly website hosting fees. Variable costs. The cost to produce one t-shirt includes both material costs and labor costs. So both the material cost per t-shirt and the labor cost per t-shirt both add together to get the total variable costs. Revenue per unit. Cool Tees sells each t-shirt for $25. Quantity sold. Cool Tees sell 150 t-shirts. Okay, so the question is calculate the profit for Cool Tees. So we look at the influence diagram. So the diagram here shows it visually represents the connection between different components of the profit model of a business. This can help us better understand the factors affecting daily sales. So at the top we have the total profit, which equals the total revenue and total costs. So it branches out into these two categories or factors. And so every component is made up of different things. The total revenue is equal to the price per t-shirt times the quantity sold, and the total cost is equal to the fixed costs plus variable costs. In this case, cost of materials per t-shirt is a variable cost. And so this just gives us an understanding of the order of operations when coming to total profit and how to calculate it. Excel, and looking here at our Cool Tees business model, we have our profit model here on our left, and it consists of fixed costs, variable costs per t-shirt, total revenue, revenue per t-shirt, number of units, and our profit. Now, profit is what we're trying to find. We're trying to find and calculate our profit, and we've looked at the formulas beforehand in one of the slides. So let me just go ahead and put in our values. We have variable cost per t-shirt, which is the material cost per t-shirt, and the labor cost. So that comes to $10. Total revenue is just total revenue. We have revenue per t-shirt. Now revenue per t-shirt comes to $25. Number of units is 150. And so as we come to our profit, to put in our profit formula, we need to do equal, and so we'll have the total revenue, which is B10, revenue per t-shirt. You'll times that by the number of units, 150, and you will minus all your total costs. So you will minus fixed costs by itself, and then you will minus the variable cost, which is B6, times that by the number of units sold. And so you should come up with your total profit, which is 1,450. That is how you calculate your profit in this model. We have the total profit as the main goal, but by looking at the profit's influences such as number of units sold and variable costs, we can find parts of the business that may need attention. We can derive business problems to find ways to improve the day-to-day operations as well as daily sales, therefore helping businesses control and assess the different operations to optimize their output and minimize expenses. Now, question number 2. To make informed business decisions, Cool Tees needs to know how many t-shirts they must sell to cover all their costs and break even. Using the formula, calculate the break-even point for Cool Tees. The formula for break-even point is when the profit equals 0. So when your revenue cancels out your expenses, right? That's the break-even. When you break even is when you make no profit, but all your expenses are paid for. So you're just neutral. We're still going with our Cool Tees business model, and we have the same values as our previous question, but we're looking at the break-even point. Now, break-even point is when your profit at the bottom here equals 0. So when that equals 0, that means the output that you have in number of units is the amount needed to break even. So if we come to the top and we are looking to make a one-way data table. To start this one-way data table and to find our break-even point, we will put our profit at the top right in a spare space equals to 1450, and then down to the left we will want to put in a series of output from the business. So let's say we're just going to start off with 10, 20, 30 all the way to 100. So let's drag this to 100. Yep. Okay. From here, what we're going to want to do is highlight our range here, and go to data, what if analysis, and you have our 3 things here. So you want to press data table first, and in column input cell, the second one, we're going to want to click on our number of units and press OK. So once we come here, you can see that we have our profit on the right and our number of units on the left. So looking at our number of units here, we can see that our profit is in the negatives and then it jumps to the positives. So what we want to find is when this profit is equal to 0. We can see it's somewhere between 50 and 60. Okay, so what we want to do now is we want to jump back to this side and we want this profit to equal 0. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to what if analysis and press goal seek. From goal seek, we're going to want to we're setting our profit cell as shown, and we want to set it to the value of 0. And you want to change the number of units sold. So when you press OK, so here, your profit is now 0 at a number of units sold being 53.33333, and so that's the number of units needed for you to break even. So that is the break-even point in Excel. The next thing that we're going to go through is the scenario analysis in Excel. So come with me. What we want to look at is the last option in the data what if analysis, and it is the scenario manager. So what this does is scenario manager looks at all the scenarios of quantities that you can have, so the number of units, and it shows you the profit that it would have. It's pretty much a summary of the different outcomes that you can have. So I've done 3 already. So 10, 20, 30. I'm just going to add another one, and I'm going to do it to 100. So okay, cool. So once we get to this point, I've put in the values and I've gone through this scenario manager, and we've added on these different quantities, and our result cells is the profit. So this is B12 is our number of units, and our result cell is our profit. So we can see here that from our previous question that we have the current value, which is the break-even value for our break-even point, or profit equals 0. But the scenario manager just looks at the different quantities or outputs of the business and the direct profit. It's just a more organized way to have your data set up and gives you a better representation. But it is very helpful for different companies and different businesses to get a hold of where their break even is and the different paths or scenarios that they can have when changing their output. So, yeah. The scenario manager tool, as shown, can be applied to profit modeling and break even analysis by changing different variables such as the selling price, variable, and fixed costs to see the potential results in profit. Now, this is ideal to show the impacts of each profit factor and what needs to be further improved or considered to increase the business's profit. Overall, the concepts of profit modeling and break-even analysis are essential tools for any business looking to make informed financial decisions, driving their business towards success. I hope this was clear, and remember there are multiple ways to calculate these concepts. This is just one of them. Thanks for listening and have a great day.